This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen, live from the car as the Edmonton Oilers seal a 3-0 victory over top of the Vegas Golden Knights. At least I was hoping it was 3-0. I don't know what the radio broadcast said at there, and there kind of didn't have an update on the score for a long while, other than a shutout win for Stuart Skinner over top of the Vegas Golden Knights this evening. You would love to see it as an Edmonton Oilers fan today. The 180 on Stuart Skinner, complete reverse from where we were just 48 hours ago. It seems like this Edmonton Oilers squad, Edmonton Oilers fans, we are riding every single possible wave this year. And as the fans of the Edmonton Oilers, like I said, we do the 180 on Stuart Skinner less than 48 hours later. He's the worst goalie coming out of Game 3 that's possibly ever played in the NHL playoffs. And then we find all time that he is a top 5 goaltender in Game 4s of NHL playoff series. So, end of the day is Stuart Skinner secures the victory. Absolutely unreal performance by the Edmonton Oilers, top down. Again, they matched that desperation level, from Game 2. They brought a little bit of what made them successful at times in that LA Kings series. They played a much better game in front of Stuart Skinner, and they just went out there and absolutely dominated start to finish. Ran the Vegas Golden Knights right out of the building tonight. You'll love to see that at home to send it back to Vegas for game number 5, up 3-1. The Oilers finally pull through for a victory for Stuart Skinner. A shutout victory nonetheless. That is why I'm saying us Edmonton Oilers fans are absolutely insane for this, because we wanted to run Stuey out of town after game number 3, and now we're going to celebrate, play La Bamba tonight, and absolutely enjoy the heck out of the fact that Stuart Skinner, just like Connor Hellebuck in a rough postseason so far, finds a shutout at the most timely time, and all of a sudden Mr. Stuart Skinner gets the job done here in game number 4. And I will sit here and say, friends, we are absolutely unreal as Edmonton Oilers fans, straight up, straight down. I will tell you, it is life in, life out as an Oilers fan, game in, game out, how we go and ride the waves, start to finish, game in, game out. And obviously the playoffs are just such a wild card for us Edmonton Oilers fans, and you love to see it, because for the Oilers, end of the day is when you get a performance that puts this team on the map like they did here in game number 4. This is the biggest thing you love to see out of the Oilers, is statements in the playoffs against good teams. Everybody always talks about what a great playoff team that the Vegas Golden Knights are. The Edmonton Oilers, when you put up a performance like this, that puts you on the map. I know we're already there, but this is kind of where it is for the Edmonton Oilers. Like I said, a confidence-inspiring performance. You absolutely need to see those at times, especially coming out of what was really an earth-shattering past 48 hours leading up to the game. You find out that, we had a game where the Oilers quite simply squeaked out a win in game 2 against the Vegas Golden Knights. You find a game there in game number 3 where Stuart Skinner has to come in relief of the injured Calvin Pickard, has an absolute nightmarish fuel game. And for Skinner, he's already had 2 of those in the playoffs. And then we all lose our minds. We go psycho over it for 48 hours. And then 48 hours later, we're celebrating Stuart Skinner winning a game, shutout style, statement style, against the Vegas Golden Knights in a game that the Oilers absolutely must need to win to get into a situation, A, where they can clinch the playoff series, but also B, not be at the hands and mercy of the Vegas Golden Knights with home ice the rest of the way home. So for the Oilers here in this one, the key is obviously Stuart Skinner coming up with a performance, and I'm going to sit here and tell you, the key is always in the playoffs for the Oilers for Stuart Skinner to come up with a performance. The issue is so often he doesn't, but all of a sudden he does, and it's a key one for the Oilers, because end of the day is we've seen all too often for Skinner, outside of one gigantic moment in game 6 against the Dallas Stars, he has never been a plus goalie in saves above expected or goals saved above expected. There was something on the social medias today that showed his advanced analytics series by series, every series he's ever produced, and the only series he has been positive, the only one absolutely anywhere close to impactful was the Dallas series. Of course, a lot of that was probably built up in game number 5. Well, my friends, mark down a little check mark here for Stuart Skinner following game 4 against the Vegas Golden Knights, in which he checks that box and has an impact performance for the Edmonton Oilers. That is not to write off the impact performance for the Edmonton Oilers this evening. All around, the offense straight out of the gate got to work. The physical play straight out of the gate, getting to Hill, creating chaos, making the Golden Knights hate playing against us start to finish. That was phenomenal. That's what you need to see. I preached it from the very beginning of this series. Vegas was going to come hard at you. You got to come harder at Vegas if you want to win this series, and the Edmonton Oilers very much so did this. And I love, trust me, I don't think anybody truly understands where I come from as an Edmonton Oilers fan. I come out of the ranks of the old school Junior B. I come out of the ranks of the NEA JBHL. I come out of the ranks of Northern Alberta, where there's not much else but absolute chaos when it comes to hockey growing up in my time. And let me tell you, when the Edmonton Oilers play hockey like they did tonight against the Vegas Golden Knights, where it is beat you up on the scoreboard, beat you up goaltending wise, beat you up defense wise, beat you up physically, and you get beat up, run out of the building style, and it is just chaos from the word go for the opposing team in your home barn. That is what I love to see from the team I cheer for, and the fact that we get to do a complete 180, and trust me, I know where I stood prior to tonight's game with Stuart Skinner. I was just hoping and praying that at some point he's going to prove my doubt wrong, because guy's just been, not so great in the playoffs for a long while here. And you know what? He comes through with the performance. The Oilers come through with a performance of a lifetime in game number 4 against the Vegas Golden Knights. Dummy 'em on the scoreboard, dummy 'em defense, dummy 'em on the penalty kill, which has really struggled all series long and all playoffs long, and they got that job done tonight. And by the way, like I'm saying, we get to do the 180. That's what feels good tonight. I will always be happy to be wrong. There's never such a thing as being mad to be wrong about this team. Every time you can be happy you're wrong on this Edmonton Oilers team, it's a feel-good feeling, because this team so often gives you so much not to be excited about. And tonight, given the circumstances surrounding Game 3, given the circumstances surrounding the injury to Calvin Pickard, given the circumstances surrounding Calvin Pickard being injured for most of the rest of this series, possibly available for a Game 7 if the days line up. I know Patrick over on the Oilers Fanatic has more details on that than I do, but obviously, if it all shakes out here for the Edmonton Oilers, you don't even need game number 6. The Edmonton Oilers simply just need game number 5 at home in Vegas for the team that has the home ice in this series. So we'll see what happens, but the Edmonton Oilers, like I'm saying, this is a performance of a lifetime kind of deal as they face the Vegas Golden Knights in a critical Game 4, where the series shifted on a dime, or so it felt, following a stuttering performance from Stuart Skinner, in which was an all-right go to start at 2-0 for Mr. Calvin Pickard and the Edmonton Oilers. So what was going good goes also wrong in Game 3, and Stuart Skinner takes that and takes everything we've said about how bad he was in Game 3 and absolutely flips it on its head and gets us home into Game 5 here with a victory in Game 4 and a chance to clinch the series against the Vegas Golden Knights in Game 5 down in Vegas, and plenty of rest on the line, because I will tell you, you have seen what's, not St. Louis, what Dallas and Winnipeg have done here in Game 1 through 3. I think they got Game 4 tomorrow, and guess what? Now we get to see that series hopefully go the distance, which would be great for the NHL and the Winnipeg Jets and their fans. But what we also get to see is the Edmonton Oilers hopefully wrap it up on Wednesday, and then you betcha we get all that rest going into game number, what is that? 1 of the conference finals. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I don't understand how to tell you this properly, but the best part about being an Edmonton Oilers fan is so often being wrong about this team. They, under the past, 2 years with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, they have never failed to impress you at the most critical time in the playoffs, right? I think down 3-0 against Florida, they come through with an absolutely unbelievable game in game 4. Again, you wish that meant something, but what ends up happening there for the Oilers is a magical next 3 games. And I think as well, game 6 against Dallas, I think back to the Calgary Flames series, I think back in round 1 against LA when Stuart Skinner just couldn't get it together in 23, that whole run. It just seems like the Oilers always tend to save their best for last. That's been proven multiple times here. But Stuart Skinner leaves himself spread thin among the rank and file of Oilers fans, trying to figure out what they're going to do with him, whether he wins or loses tonight. And thankfully, we're talking about a shutout victory for Stuart Skinner that ultimately leads to a 3-1 series lead for the Oilers going back to Vegas in game number 5. Friends, for right now, though, I'm going to head to bed. Thanks for being aboard. I will catch you in the morning, I'm sure, with a lot of your thoughts and opinions. But for right now, I'm up on out of here.